Hello folks, this is day 2 of the 25 days of Christmas list. If you watched yesterday's video, you know the recommendations was rod and reel combo or rod and reel, whichever. Day 2, you gotta have line to put on the rod and reel. So there's all kinds of different line out there, different companies, Stren, Berkeley, Spiderwire, just to name a few. It all depends on what kind of water you're fishing and what kind of gear you're fishing. Me personally, with the waters I fish, I don't need anything fancy. I don't even use braid, but you guys can use whatever you want because your money. You decide what you need for the conditions you fish. Heavier lures, heavier line. Lighter lures, lighter line. If you're not too experienced, just stick with something more of a clear color or something that matches the water that you're actually going to be fishing. If you can do that. Me, I just throw clear blue line is what I usually throw on my rods, or just clear line. So you can get it anywhere from like 2-pound tests all the way up to 100-pound tests. And just depends on what you think you need for what you're throwing. It's really not, line's just not too complicated. It's like most things in life, though. The more you pay, the better quality. I'm not saying that the most expensive stuff is always going to be the best, but stick with if you have a name brand that you like, or the person you're buying for has a name brand that they like, then stick with that. Like I said, I grew up throwing Stren, so that's what I'm sticking with for right now. I have tried braid before. Like I said, most of the waters I fish, I don't really need braid. Not saying it's bad, it's just very expensive. And especially if you're throwing braid on baitcaster, it tends to backlash a little bit more often. But if you're going for like, bluegill, perch, smaller fish that don't get big, you can get away with doing, 6-pound line. If you're just going out there and you're throwing night crawlers for whatever you want, whatever you think you might catch, you're fine with. You might want to do, 8 to 12-pound tests, depending on what's underneath the water. Just start off with something, basically, and depending on your fishing results, the next time you go back, okay, oh, I snapped my line on a tree that I didn't know was under the surface. That happens. Next time you go back to that pond, you'll know, hey, I might want to do braid here, or I might want to just go heavier. If you snap your line because you only had 4-pound test, yeah, you might want to go heavier, or you might want to switch to braid. If you're fishing a lot of waters with a lot of grass, you might want to go with braid, because when you're going through grass, if you're throwing lures, you can actually rip that grass. If you got heavy enough braid will almost work like a little saw. It'll rip that grass out, so you can basically you're gonna make a path, like mowing your yard. You're gonna make a path. I don't have a real thick stuff, where I fish, so I don't have to really worry about it all that much. But if you're, have access to a boat and somebody takes you out to a spot where, there's thick grass, or there's a lot of dead logs, or, underwater timber, then you're gonna want heavier and possibly want braid. But like we said yesterday in the rod and reel video, do your research. You don't just say, oh, some dude's gonna take me fishing on a boat and know nothing about it. There's different maps and stuff. You can go to some of the stores in my area. They carry maps for the bigger lakes, and you can maybe see I'm not saying it's going to show you that, you know, a tree fell in the lake a year ago or over the summer or whatever, and oh, this is off this point, you got to watch out for it. You know, the maps aren't going to be that current. But, you know, talk to your friend that's going to take you out on the boat or whatever. Hey, I got anything I need to worry about getting hung up on? Because I don't want to snap off and then spend half my time fixing a backlash with my bait caster, or, you know, if I'm going to be hung up in trees because it's a low-hanging area, you know. Sorry, Gabriel decided not to go to bed, I guess. So he's making an appearance. But, you know, just do your research, just like the rod and reel video. Don't go out there throwing 2-pound tests and there's trees all over the place. When in doubt, go heavy. You know, what I have on my setups, I have a micro fishing rod and I've got 6-pound mono on it. For my bait caster, I do believe I have 20-pound on it right now. And then for the other spinning rod that I have, I've got pretty sure it's 12-pound mono on it. So I'm pretty well covered for the bodies of water I fish. On my bait caster, I do throw heavier lures, so that's why I throw a little bit heavier line. My bait caster is mostly top water wake baits, and then I throw some worms on there, Texas rigged, so that's why I've got that stuff on there a little bit. That way, if I do throw a heavier lure, even if I'm not throwing my whopper plopper or my 3/4 ounce wake bait, I don't have to worry about, oh, my line's too weak, I can't throw this on it. If I got something that I'm going to downsize, I'll put it on one of my spinning rods, whether it's my micro or my medium action spinning rod. Really, line is just personal preference. It's not really all that complicated. You just want to throw something that's going to fit your conditions. So that's going to be it for tonight, guys. This was Wesley Van Devender with Algwoutdoors. And oh, one thing, some people might see these videos and be like, well, if you're doing 25 days of Christmas, why are you starting so early? I'm starting early because some of the stuff I'm going to cover, maybe not these first 2 videos. I don't think you're going to have to worry so much about, you know, stuff getting shipped to you on time or items being sold out. But some of the stuff I'm going to cover with, well, at least one of the lures I know of. You might want to order it early if you're doing online shopping, or if you know there's a store that carries one of the lures I'm going to talk about in the lure video. You might want to get there as quick as you can, because one of the lures I'm going to cover has been selling out like crazy. There aren't many stores that actually carry it. Actually, I've only come across one, and then the other one was the other place that I know carries it. It was an online store. So I'm doing these videos early so that if you have to account for shipping and handling or something being out of stock, maybe you can go to, you know, a backup spot, whether it be online or another store. Or, it's happened to me, the package delivery company loses something that you order. You pay for it, never got it, so then you got to get reimbursed. So that's why I'm doing these things a little early, so that you can get some good ideas, you know, and get your shopping done early. Or if you can't afford to get it done early, then you can go and make a little list of what you think you need and budget accordingly. So if you're only going to have one rod, or this person that you're buying for, you know, whether it's yourself giving your family members a list, or you're buying for a friend, you know, you can make a list. Okay, this paycheck, you know, this budget, then I get this, the items 1, 2, and 3, and so on. So you just adjust accordingly. Anyway, this is me signing out. Hope you guys find these videos useful. There will be another one tomorrow. And have a good night. And happy Thanksgiving.